assustador.
Well, Sophia joins me now just to go through some of that. I mean, that was an interesting point. It's not just dying from the disease, it's dying because of the disease, which is obviously putting the numbers up. But I guess one of the challenges, you pulling all this together, is that, I mean, there is no standard uniform reporting system for this, is there?
No, and it took us about a month to get these figures together. Obviously, as you said, different countries have different ways of reporting COVID deaths. Some of them don't even record them if they haven't happened in hospitals. So that was, quite tricky. But what we found while looking at the figures in 27 different countries, from Italy, Brazil, the UK, France, was that there's an extra 130,000 people who have died during this pandemic on top of the figures that we already know. So it's like a third higher than we thought.
And did you find that some countries were pretty close to being right on their figures and others are just way off the map?
Yes, obviously different countries, different pictures. Ecuador in Latin America is doing particularly badly, with almost sort of twice as many excess deaths than they're officially recording. And Europe, interestingly, probably not surprisingly, Italy, Spain, Belgium and the UK have been hit quite hard by the pandemic. But in Spain, we found over an extra 15,000 deaths that's officially reported. In Italy, there's up to 16,000. So yes, it's quite a significant number.
It's difficult to see beyond the awfulness of the coronavirus and the impact it's had. And yet there is a reality, isn't there, that lockdowns have actually helped to avoid a certain number of injuries, deaths. And I suppose, do you take that as a dividend of some sort?
I mean, that's really interesting because we've looked at countries like Germany, Switzerland, Austria, and they're not recording higher. Sort of the excess deaths number are really, really low. The thing about these figures is that they don't really tell us why. We believe that sort of a big factor is, as you saw in the report, is people not being able to get the treatment they need, even if they don't have COVID. So sort of healthcare systems being overwhelmed. But as you mentioned, in some countries like South Africa, we've seen fewer deaths than usual since the lockdown. And that's because in South Africa specifically, they've had fewer car accidents and fewer homicides because they've sort of banned alcohol sales. So very different picture there.
Very interesting coverage there. Sophia, thanks very much for that. Thank you.